You can do what you wanna do as long as you got dreams to go for. They say they can't stop me, they can't stop me. I'ma go hard, they can't stop me. Cause I'm a mind dog. To the niggas tryna bring me down. I love you, turn around upside down. They can't stop me. I'ma go hard, they can't stop me. Cause I'm a mind dog. All right. Welcome everybody to Keeping It Real and Peep Game TV. I'm your man, Shadi Ali, aka SRD, with my man Jay Sean, aka Mr. F
What's up?
Love,
What's up?
on
What's
this
up?
Thursday, December 11th, 2025. So thank y'all. We know y'all could have been anywhere. We're thankful that y'all chose to spend this time with us. And for that, we're grateful. So let's get to it, brother. What's your week been like?
Oh, been pretty good, man. I was telling you a little while ago. I went to a football game. That's always the height of my football season when I get to go to Giant Stadium and see I mean, MetLife Stadium and see the Jets play my team, the Miami Dolphins. That's always like the highlight of
Okay.
my football season. But I just didn't know I was gonna catch the bug, So I've been under the weather like for about 3 days, but feeling a little better today. Started feeling a little better this morning, really. So it was. I don't want to say it was worth it, but I had a good time. I had a good time.
Hey, that's the important thing. As long as you had a good time, man. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And anytime you get to see your team, you know, up close and personal, I figure that's got to be worth something.
And the thing about being sick is I don't really mind being sick as long as I ain't KO'd. You know what I mean? I don't care about getting a little bug and you might be, might hit stuffy nose or cough or a light fever. I just don't like it when you KO, like you bedridden. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
can't
no, I
eat.
dig it.
You can't eat. You too weak to get up. You too weak to shower. Like your head hurt, your throat hurt. I don't like it when it's like that. And I haven't been, knock on wood, I haven't been like that in a while. Even when I had COVID, two times I think I had COVID. Once or twice I wasn't. It was just like I had a light cold. I
Okay.
think that's because I take a lot of vitamins.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, as long as as you say, as long as you can move around, it's not too bad.
Yeah, because
You know?
some people, especially at our age, some people it takes out. But I pump a lot of vitamins. Well, not a lot, but I take about 4 vitamins a day.
Yeah, eating right and and trying to, do something with your body, keep your body moving. I think that helps.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I eat. I don't. Yeah, well, I eat right. Yeah, I don't really mess around with too much garbage anymore. So take the medicine I'm supposed to take, drink the water I'm supposed to drink, and
Yeah.
I just
And
got
thank
back
you
to the
guys.
gym.
Like we said, thank you guys. We know you could have been anywhere. We're thankful that you're here with us. And for
Mhm.
that, we appreciate you. All right. So, let's get into it, man. You know what my thing is, man. Let's get into it for the people. We got the book. The book is, is on and popping. It just, in a few, you guys will be able to pre-order it in a couple
Oh,
weeks. So once that happens, I'll post something, let you guys know when you can pre-order it at. But right
oh,
now,
okay.
I just got, the books where I'm sending out, mailing to, different people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The promotion.
Vitamin water. Somebody said something about vitamin water.
They said vitamins, water. and water. I guess fruit,
Oh,
vegetables, rest, good eating is
yeah,
very
yeah. Well, you
much.
definitely got to get that rest.
Yeah, that's a key factor.
Yeah. If you don't rest, your body don't heal itself. So that's important.
Hmm.
So let's get right into it. I believe you went first last week.
So I'm asking first this week.
Yeah.
Um, look and feel like in everyday life. I think we've been talking about this lightly on a lot of shows we do. We've been touching on it a little bit, not a lot, but we've been touching on it a little bit. But now that I'm at the age that I'm at, I really understand what that the word stands for now, and the word I'm talking about is community. I understand what is what community stand for now. With that being said, or what that part it plays a part in your life or your growing up. With that being said, when you hear the word community, what does a healthy community look and feel like to you in everyday life?
As you know, the listener said, community, automatically to me brings unity. What the first thing when I hear community, the word that's in community is unity. You can't spell community without the word unity. And one of the listeners put a connection. And when when I hear it, I think of multiple people working together, trying to make, their neighborhoods, their areas, you know, safer, cleaner, and better. Like, because there's a time when we all considered, you said, the neighborhood. Somehow, over the years, we took the neighbor out and we just had hood, you know? And it seems like once we got to the hood, the dynamics of the community changed. There was, less unity and for more individuality, more going for self. There was a time where, you could go to your neighbor and, you know, ask for sugar. Go to your neighbor, ask for coffee. Go to your neighbor sometimes and even and have dinner. They may fix you a plate to take home. There was a time where they used to have what we call the rent parties, where somebody may be short on their rent and they would throw a party to help raise the rent. So to me, that's what community looks like. It looks like everybody in the neighborhood know each other, respect each other, and try to do something to make each other's lives, more productive. That's what community looks like to me, and that's the feeling that I get of a warmness rather than a coldness. Because like now, people barely speak, and you don't know sometimes if you should speak to people based on how they may react. You know,
Hmm.
so I think we need more warm, warmness, more closeness, more consideration, more helpfulness. I think those are things that I see when I think about community. What do you think, brother?
First, I'm gonna give a shout out to I guess his name is C.Y. Halt. He listening from Manchester in United Kingdoms.
Hey,
In
what's
the
up? What's
United
up?
in Manchester. That's
That's
United,
Canada, ain't it? No,
out that
no,
way. You know
no. That's like in Manchester's what? Somewhere in London, somewhere like
that's
that.
like out by Amsterdam and all that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we want to give a shout out and to Peaches and to everybody else on YouTube. Share the live. Leave a comments. That's what we need. Um, community to me now at the age I am. But you was right 100% right when you said it used to be the neighborhood, and then we just shortened it and made it the hood. And when we shortened it and made it the hood took on a bad term, not to us, but to the echelons of the world. You know, they could say, "Oh, that's the hood," but to us, we was proud to say, "This is our hood. This is our hood." You know, we was proud, but we didn't know that the people, the powers that be, was 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 happy that we was happy that we was calling it the hood, and they was considering it the hood, but they was using it in a different way than we was using it. You know what I mean? They was using it like, if you I'm a movie connoisseur, like a historian with movies. So I like to quote different things, like the movie from The Godfather, when they was trying to talk about starting to venture into drugs because they didn't really want to sell drugs. You know what I mean? They just wanted to stick to what they was doing. And the mafia, the mafia people said that they could sell drugs, but keep it in the blackies territory. You know what I mean? In the hood, like,
Right.
keep it in the hood. So that's what I think that upper people, the
The
powers
upper
that be,
echelon.
yeah, I think that's how they labeled it. Once we you know once we start believing that the hood was something important, even though this go way back, you know what I mean? That's how it was, the hood, or the inner city, the ghetto. You know what I mean? So it took on all them names, but I think that I think that your community is how you feel about it. So if everybody feel like, oh, I want the streets clean around here. I don't want people playing loud music out here. I don't want people hanging out here. You know what I mean? I don't want people hanging on the blocks loitering. I don't want drugs being sold here. I don't want trash on the ground. I think that's what it should look like if everybody cared. So that's uh that's what I think the community should look like to me in everyday life. I think the community should look like everybody feeling the same way about where they living at, in their community. I think everybody should feel the same way, whereas everybody want it clean, everybody want it quiet, and everybody want it safe. That's how I think it should look every day.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree, brother. That moving as a unit, and everybody want to see that the neighborhood is improving and
Hmm.
being better. for the children, for the future, for the elderly and everybody else that's in the neighborhood. I
and
totally
and that's what
agree.
and that's what a healthy and that's what a healthy community would look like. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a big thing going on now where I think feelings have been put in the forefront as they have never been before. You know, being concerned about people's feelings, people wanting to express their feelings, people wanting you to have consideration of their feelings, things of that nature. So, my question to you is, are you responsible for how your mate feels?
Um, I think that I don't know if you're responsible for how your mate feels, but I think that you play a big part in that because I mean, each individual you got to make yourself happy. Like you know what makes you happy. You can't expect somebody, even if it's your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you can't expect them to. You can expect them to guess, you know, and think they know what makes you happy, but what makes you happy is inside of you. I mean, unless you tell them, and more than likely you will tell them. But I just don't believe that it's another person' responsibility to make you happy. I think it's your responsibility to make yourself happy because everybody got their own thoughts and ideas. And you could help them out along the way and you could build them every day and stuff like that. And that's all cool. But in the end, when it all is said and done, I believe that a person has to be able to keep make and keep their own self happy, um and not look for somebody else to bring them happiness, because a relationship is one thing. It's a lot of people in relationships that stay together for 20 and 30 years and they never happy because they sacrifice their life for their kids or for their marriage or whatever. But it's another thing to be with somebody 20 years and be happy for 20 years. You know what I mean? So I that's not it's not a thin line to me. It's a thick line to me. So I just believe it's not somebody else's responsibility to make you happy. I believe that it's yours. What you think?
Okay, when it comes to me and feelings, you know, I do believe that we should have consideration for people's feelings, you know, because I think a lot of times people do things without even considering another person's feelings. Hence, why you say you're Mr. F Love. You know what I mean? That's based on doing something that deals with feelings. You know, when a person is unfaithful, that comes from a feeling. That comes from something that they want to do that they're not concerned with how the other person gonna feel. And a lot of times, I think they're not even concerned about the person who they are being unfaithful with. Because many times it comes to a point where somebody's basically lying. Very rarely will people be straight up and say, look, I got a lady, everything's good. I got a man and everything's good. But I just want to, do something right now. I just want to do something different, be with somebody different. Very rarely do that happen. Other instances is when it comes to behaviors. Certain behaviors cause people to feel a certain way. However, I do agree, no matter what a person does, we as the individual, it's necessary for us to take accountability and responsibility for how we react. There's because people, abusers, people who abuse other people, they justify their abuse by saying that the person caused them to do it. You know what I mean? If you didn't act the way you act, I wouldn't have smacked you. If you didn't say
Mm-hmm.
what you said, I wouldn't have cursed you out. So I agree with you that yeah, we it's necessary for each individual to take responsibility and accountability. However, I do think, as individuals, it's necessary for us to have consideration for others and how they feel, not to the point where it becomes overwhelming and where you be engulfed in trying to make sure they feel a certain way and trying to make sure they don't feel a certain way. Because at the end of the day, you're not in their heart. You're not in their emotions. So as you said, you won't be able to tell exactly how they feel except by the way in which they express themselves by things that you say and do and other actions that you may display. So, that's my view on it.
Mm, yeah. Um. Let me see if you could change one. I like this one right here. I do. I really do.
Huh?
Um. I like this right here. This question I'm getting ready to ask you.
Okay.
Um. Uh. Because it's something that I often thought about. Um. Feeling
Okay,
communicated.
lay it on me, brother.
If all right. If you if you could change one pattern in how your family communicates, past or present, what would it be and why?
So you said if I could change one pattern on how my family communicates, be it
Hmm.
past or present, what would it be and why?
Yes.
Um, I think, as I was saying previously when we were talking about feelings, that I would change the screaming and cursing. Those
Hmm.
those are the things that when it comes to communicating. I think screaming and cursing, because I always figured like if you're not angry, sometimes you get angry and you curse just to express your anger. Other
Hmm.
times when you're just cursing to curse, or I look at it as you're cursing because you don't have a better word to use at that time. So you come up with a curse word because that's the old reliable word that can pop into your mind. And I think,
Mm-hmm.
whenever we start screaming and hollering, we are operating on our lower selves. Our higher selves, I think, unless it's passion, when we allow ourselves to get so angry till we basically lose control, then I think the communication is distorted. Because normally when someone starts screaming or cursing, a lot of times, I know for myself, I tune them out.
Yeah.
So the conversation that would have been meaningful, that we possibly would have both gained something from, that goes out the window once a person starts screaming and hollering and cursing. Now, mind you, there's a difference between, as I said, being passionate, because sometimes you get passionate about something, you do get a little loud. You know what I mean? Your
Yeah.
voice do escalate. So when it comes to that, yeah, I look at it like that. That you know, and a lot of people are comfortable, I believe, with the screaming and hollering. And if that's what you're comfortable with, that's what you're comfortable with. You know, I'm not here to try to tell you what to do or what not to do. I'm only looking at it from my perspective and saying that
Mm-hmm.
I think communication sometimes get you know dismantled when we communicate on a certain level that's it's not really flowing. So that's my thought. Because I'm a calm person, so I like to be calm. You know, so that's me. That's
Yeah.
my demeanor, being calm and nice and easy. What's your thoughts about
Mine is more like from the past because I'm not really in like a relationship now with a family. So I would think about the past. If it was one pattern and how a family communicates from the past, and people might use it nowadays. They might want to use it or they might should use it, but um, if I could change one thing, I would have changed that the decision making to go through channels. Um, from the father to the mother to the child, or from the father and the mother to the child, not just one parent making the sole decisions on on a child's life. You know what I mean? Now, if you was in a single family, that this don't apply to you. I'm only talking about if you was in a household with a mother and a father. That's all I could talk about because that's how I grew up. You know what I mean? So I'm talking about I'm not the single parents. I don't really know. I wouldn't even know how to answer it because I didn't grow up like that. But from the point how I grew up with a mother and a father, I just wish that um uh if I could have changed it, I would have wanted more decisions being made with both parents instead of just one. Cause by just allowing one parent to make all the decisions, nobody's perfect. and it ain't no rule book on how to be a parent. So parents is gonna make mistakes. But if you would allow both parents to do it, you know the old saying, two heads is better than one. So that's the only reason. That's what I would like. I would like for um if I could do it all over, well, if I could live it all over again, I would like both my parents to make decisions on my life as an adolescent.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So you're saying, discussion and they come up and they do it in unison where they,
yeah,
bounce it off each other rather than one person say, look, he's going to do this.
yeah,
That's cut and dry. It's over. That's what he's going to do.
yeah. Because
Yeah.
that that was the question.
I can relate to that.
If you could change one pattern,
What?
that was the question. If you could change one pattern, that's the pattern I would have changed right there.
Okay.
You know,
Pattern
because
of
a lot of times, a lot
both
of times,
parents working together for the good of the child.
right? And not in just black family, white family. I'm
Just yeah,
sure
just in
this go
general.
on in
Right.
this go on in a million households where it's two parents. Uh, a lot of times the man might lead the mother, the woman in charge, and a lot of times the man is in charge and the woman don't have a say so. His word rules. I just think if I could change the pattern, I would have said or give advice to somebody, let both parents talk about it, and I'm sure they'd come up with it'd be better, or either the child will understand it better when they got older, you know, like that.
I get it. So, being that we were talking about parents and, you know, um, behaviors of parents or parents working together,
You-
it kind of coincide to me with the next question. Well, and, because I think, like when children are young and children have aspirations and dreams, you know, all they want is their parent to kind of buy into it, to believe in it. You know what I mean? If your parent believe you could do something, it almost makes you feel invincible that you could do it, you know? So when it comes to dreams, you know, when should you give up on your dream?
you know, this is something that I think about all the time, because it seemed like we've been we've been chasing something for a long time. I don't know if it's fame. I don't know if it's money. I don't know if it's respect. I don't know what it is, but we all have did different things. We, you know, from different, from you have been prosperous, like in real estate and writing, and and I done did things what I did in writing, and different things, but it seemed like it's always more, like something more you want. You know, it's probably people out there who wish they have done as much as we did, but I still find myself at 62 saying I need that one quick get rich quick scheme. That one movie or that one book or that it's always if that one thing. So a lot of times when I say like, well, you just finished writing a book, and I'm working on a book now. Well, I'm getting ready to start working on a book now, and I say to myself, is this book gonna be the one? So that I'm dreaming. That's like I'm dreaming. What I mean, I'm dreaming that this is the book that is a Pulitzer Prize winner. This is the book that's gonna take me on nationally syndicated talk shows and radio shows and have me on the Fallon show or Oprah if she still was around, and on the radios and all that. So I don't want to say that I'm gonna stop dreaming because I mean, what else we got to live for? If you can't dream and want better, what do we got to dream? So I'm gonna say that when do you stop dreaming? If you're an entrepreneur, I'm gonna say never. If you if you somebody who feel like you got everything, you might have a house and a wife and a picket fence and a nice backyard, and you feel like you got everything you want with your family, then I guess you don't got to dream no more. But if you got an empty void inside of you somewhere where you you still want your name to be known all over the world, or you still think you got things to offer the world through your whatever your writing or your visions, then you just keep dreaming. I guess dreaming don't never stop. What you think about that?
Yeah, I think I mean, let's. I believe that as long as you have a desire to do better, to make your life better, so that you can do more for the people around you. I think when it comes to you and I, we're looking for that vehicle that is going to take off financially and put us in a position where money is plentiful. You know what I mean? Where you
Yeah.
can actually be able to do things for individuals around you who really want to do better for themselves, and maybe the only thing that is stopping them is not having you know enough finances, and
Hmm.
and believe you me, I don't I don't love money. Some people say they love money. I love what I can do for people that I love, how I can utilize it for the benefit of people that I love. You know what I mean? That's my thing about it. Money, just like what we're doing, is a vehicle that can be used to improve your situation, so to speak. You know,
Yeah.
and for me, my son and my wife say that I chase fame, and it's not so much as chasing fame; it's desiring to be around powerful people who make life changing decisions and be able to be an influence on some of them people that can make some decisions that can really make a difference in the world. You know what I mean? My thing is, yeah, I've been hood famous and things of that nature. So I've always had the desire to leave the world better than it was when I came. That's my desire. I want to
Mm,
be one of those people that left the world better rather than one of those people who made it worse. So whatever I
mm,
do, that's my intentions and that's my goal behind whatever I do and most of what I say. So, that's my
mm.
thought.
Um, it's on me, right?
Yeah.
The third question. Okay. Um, what what are some subtle warning signs that a relationship or habit is turning unhealthy even before it becomes clearly toxic or abusive? What are some warning signs?
That's a great question. And I think, that some warning signs is when what used to be simple and easy becomes difficult and strenuous. You know, I think, when it comes to relationships, sure, there's some work involved. But for me, just like your job, when you do something for a long period of time, you don't normally see it getting more difficult. You know
Right,
what I mean? When you working on the job and you start a new position, okay, you expect it to be kind of difficult because it's a new position. Once you've been at that position for a while and you have worked out different ways to um, make that, to complete your work either faster, more efficient, you know, then or just easier, then that's the way I look at when it comes to relationships. You know what I mean? Like when you've been with somebody for a while, I think one of the signs is when you clashing more than you are agreeing. When one of you look at the other like they're doing they're there, but they're not there and considering your best, you know, your best interests. And even if they are considering your best interests, it goes back to feelings. Now, if they make you feel like they're not, then in your mind, they're not because you feel as though they're not considering or motivating you to be the best you can be, and you're doing whatever you can to motivate them to be the best they can be, then it becomes, you know, a dynamic of back and forth, and the back and forth becomes aggravating, and aggravating becomes anger, and then anger eventually becomes toxic, So that's how I see it. I see it as once you or any individual who start to exhibit behaviors or exhibit communications that is not conducive or that is not welcoming to the relationship or to to strengthen and enhance the relationship, then that's the beginning signs of subtle signs of it's about to become toxic. That's my view on that. What do you think?
Oh shit, I feel like I should be the expert on this one. I feel like I've been through so much. Warning signs is warning signs is quick temperaments, uh, shorter responses, um, lack of affection. Um, what I mean by short temperaments is that anything that you say or do, the person is it aggravates the person now. Uh, the touch get a little bit different. The feel get a little bit different. The intimacy get a little bit different. Um, things that you thought might have used to make somebody happy when it don't make them happy no more. And the look, the way, even the way people, the way they might look at you, the way they might touch you. It's so many, it's so many warning signs. But if I could pick the top three, did a, oh, I'm talking about the top three of the relationship, not toxic that is over. I'm thinking, I'm doing the ones that it's over. I forgot the question was that is toxic or abusive. I went to my life. You said toxic or abusive. Um, well, toxic is the same thing, but
They say they can't hear you.
they can't hear
Yeah,
me
they
that
can't
good.
hear you. My cousin says she can't hear you.
Oh, I gotta talk louder, probably. um, well, I said I'm gonna get a top three of You can hear me?
All right, I turned you up now. Let me see.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I turned it up too. Um, I was
All
giving
right,
my my um my warnings signs of when somebody don't want you no more, but I forgot that you said that when the relationship becomes toxic or abusive. I really wouldn't know too much about abusive, like when a relationship become abusive, unless it's mental abuse. I really wouldn't know about the physical abuse too much. Um, I know about the when it comes when it could be mentally abuse, when you find one person with more withdrawn, um, when they start shying away from family members, uh, when you notice that their demeanor is different from how it used to be, when they used to be more upbeat and more happy, easy to talk to and wanting to talk and wanting to laugh. When that changes, it could be something going on in a relationship. Or some of the other things I said when the people become temperamental to certain things, anything they just jump with an attitude. Um, when the responses become short when they used to be long, those are all signs that something is wrong in a relationship. But from the abusive part, I think it's more like when the person become withdrawn, especially if they come become withdrawn from their family members or close friends that they used to be close friends with, and they wind up becoming withdrawn from them. And the conversations become short, or when they mate come around, they don't want to talk no more. They want to end the conversation. I believe that those are all warning signs that the relationship is toxic, abusive, or the person just don't want to be there no more.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. That and basically the question was, what are some of the signs and warnings, subtle
Mm-hmm.
signs and warnings before it get toxic, before it gets too
Mm-hmm.
abusive? And you made some good points. Like you said, people short tempered. When they get short tempered, like
Mm-hmm.
anything you say seems to piss them off.
That's a big one.
You know, and
That's a big red flag.
right, right. You know, and so once that start happening, then that triggers a multitude of other things because
Yep.
now the communication becomes a barrier. It becomes a barrier in the communication. So
Yep.
so I definitely agree with you with that. So let's move to the next one. Okay. So it's now they're all different types of parents. You know what I mean? And there's all different
Mm-hmm.
types of parenting styles. And as you said before, there's no manual in how to be a parent. And beyond that, different children require different attention and they require, you know, different ways in which you parent them. So you don't parent all your children the same because based on individuals, they may need something different.
Yep.
So if you weren't a good parent by being absent or irresponsible, can you or should you have to make up for the lost time? And is it ever too late?
Um. This I got we both of us we got to speak about this from a hypothetical way speaking too because um you don't really know what's in a child's brain. Some kids you got their father wasn't around. He might have came around when they was 13, 9 or 17 and it was fine with them. Then you got some kids whom father wasn't around or mother wasn't around and she came into the life later on and it wasn't fine with them. Um the question is it ever too late on the parent's point of view? I don't I don't really think it's never too late, but I don't think that you can make up for lost time either. I think that's when the problem come in when you try to come in and you try to make up for lost time, or you try to come in and then set rules that you know that that weren't set when you weren't there. Now you want to come in at the later stage in the game and play five mommy or play daddy. Um, making up lost time. That's only in the eye of the beholder. How the kid feel about it. You know, it depends on the kid. I seen kids um, meet their parents when they was 18 and everything been all right. And I seen kids meet their parents when they was 16 or 17, and things were never was all right. So on the parent end, I think that you got to just come in where you come in, and be a parent from that point of view. You know what I mean? From the time you get there, be a parent from there. Don't try to make up for lost time. Don't even try to don't even try to believe that you could make up for lost time, because you can't. I don't think so. I think you just come if you come into somebody's life late, you build that relationship from when you came in, and in the future. I don't think you could really make up I don't think you could really make up for lost time, being a parent. What about you?
Okay, before I respond, I'm gonna, basically say what my cousin said. She basically agreed with you. She said, you come into the child life and you apologize. You know what
Right.
I mean? You apologize for being absent or irresponsible. However, she said, you can't make up for the lost time. All you could do is do right by the time that you have from that point forward, which,
True.
I agree with it as well, because in both my daughters, like I said, those are the only two regrets that I have in my life is not being in my daughters' lives from day one all the way up until now. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, at one point, I thought I could try to make up for the time that I missed, but I can't because once you miss those years are gone. Them years are gone.
Right.
I can't go back to when 13, 12, 5, whatever. Can't go back to that. However, what I do is strive to build a relationship for where I'm at now to where they are now, and try to you know let them know that you know I'm there for them to the best of my ability, and I'm open to having conversations and things of that nature, whatever they would like to talk about, whatever they would like to discuss, whether it be about me, you know, men in their lives, their future, you know, uh,
Right.
yeah, their future goals, whatever. And I put that in the book. That those are my basically only two regrets. I've done a lot of things in my life, but if anybody asks me what do you truly regret, that those are the two things that I regret. Regretting not being there for them their entire lives. So that's a good question, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, unfortunately, no one. Once time is gone, you can't make up for
It's
that
gone.
time. Time, time to me is more valuable than money. You can make money back. If you spend $300, you can make $300 back. If you spend $3,000, you can make $3,000 back. But if you didn't do something yesterday that was supposed to be done yesterday, you can't fix that. You can
Nope.
only, okay, start today and try to make sure you do better today. That's it. And then,
Yeah.
proceed in
That's
doing
true.
it the next day and so forth and so on. So,
That's true.
so yeah, that time is super valuable, you
Yeah, it
know,
is.
and that's pretty much our time, man. We got,
What cousin was that?
we got
What cousin is that?
my cousin,
Yeah, who is
uh,
that? Which one?
uh, her name is Pam.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
you probably, I'm pretty sure you've seen her.
Yeah, I probably have.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming
What's
on.
up, cuz? Thanks for participating. Thanks for watching. You know, and let the people know about tomorrow, brother. You know what you're gonna your
Oh,
show tomorrow.
oh no, I'm not gonna be on tomorrow. I'm gonna be on Saturday because tomorrow I'm going to K Sean's celebration of life. You know, we
Oh,
doing the
okay.
thing. Well, Nate Sean and them doing the thing at Equality spot downtown for to celebrate K. Rest in peace, K. Sean.
Rest in
We
power.
doing
Rest in power, K.
yeah, we gonna all get together for I think it's K birthday or something.
Okay, that's
So
what's up.
they put some they put something together. So I'm gonna go down there. Me and Pete's supposed to get down there and go down there tomorrow. And so I'm gonna do my show. I'm gonna do my show
I
Saturday.
love you too.
Um, I'm gonna do my show Saturday. About 9:30. I'll put the flyer up sometime tomorrow. But once again, it was a good show. But tell us about the book one more time before we get out of here.
Well, I mean, the book is done finally, and I'm looking forward to the next few weeks where people will be able to pre-order the book. You'll be able to pre-order the book at Barnes and Nobles, and you'll be able to pre-order it at Amazon. That's
Hmm.
within 2 to 3 weeks. I'll put, some information up to let you guys know exactly when you can start pre-ordering it. I really put, my heart and soul in it. I think it's something that, you know, everybody can find some type of laughter, joy, uh, relatability. I think it's really a good read, and I want those of you who do read it, you know, uh, come on live and let the people know what it is that you liked about the book and push the book so we can just keep the book going. You know what I mean? That's what I ask of everybody to do. You like this? Look, I like this. I read the book. My cousin, my brother, my uncle, I read this book and he spoke about this. Yo, go get the book, from Hustler to Businessman by Shadi Ali. That's what I would like for everybody to do when it comes to the book. So, that's it. That's my plug for
Hey,
tonight.
congratulate.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And you were my inspiration, brother. You did it. You made me know that it's possible for it to be done. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Yeah,
So
yeah, long time coming.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, this may be the beginning of more. You know what I mean? Because I want to do something, called 17th Ave Stories. I want to start doing
Yeah,
that, but I want to start working on that with all of us. Everybody get a part in
right.
it. So until next week, and thank you,
Hey,
cuz. Until next week, you know, I wish you love, peace, and unity.